What's going on, friends? Zach here, full-time reseller, and it's Monday morning. I'm sitting right outside one of my favorite Goodwills, getting ready to go inside and search around for anything I might be able to buy to resell online. So follow along and I'll share with you how I do this game, and hopefully there's something you can learn from it. Let's go.
So off the bat, got a Patagonia hoodie. Don't usually grab these too often. This one's pretty clean, but it is priced up. I'm gonna walk around and think on this one. Patagonia is hard to walk from, but not a whole lot of profit in it considering what they have it priced at, and it is kind of basic. So this is a hard shell jacket by Toomey, and Toomey makes travel bags. I'm gonna look this up. I know Toomey is pretty popular and goes for a lot of money, and I've sold several of their travel bags. Never sold a jacket though, so I need to kind of do a little bit of research and see if this is worth the investment. This is a Patagonia men's Capilene base layer quarter zip. Unfortunately, it's priced at $12.99, and I usually would grab these for $6.99, even upwards of maybe $8.99, depending on the size and condition. But I'm gonna walk on this guy, just too much. All right, I came across this men's Stetson pearl snap, but unfortunately it is a short sleeve. But Stetson pearl snaps, long sleeve, short sleeve, in good condition, sell well for me. Pretty decent sell-through rate, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab this guy. So I went ahead and put the Toomey jacket back. The sell-through rate wasn't that great on it, and the quality and condition was just kind of beat up, but I did find these Twisted X driving mocks. These sell for about 45 to 50 bucks. They are priced up at 15, but they're fairly clean and good shape, so I'm gonna grab them. So I came across this North Face Osito women's plush jacket, and it had an extremely low price, and it looked to be in fair condition, but as I looked at it real close, it definitely had some flaws. There was a lot of fuzz piling, some stains on it, and the sleeve ends had some holes. So just a little tip, if you come across a really great brand that's at a really low price, just make sure you look it over. It could have some flaws, and sometimes it's easy to get excited and grab something you think you got a great deal on, walk out, you get home, and it's got a stain or a hole in it, and that's always a bummer. So just be diligent. Truly torn on this find. I have actually sold this same pair of snowboard boots, but they were in much better condition, and these are very rare. But this pair here are very beat up, and they have them priced at like 30 bucks almost. So I'm gonna walk on it, but keep an eye out for these faux fur lined DCs with the bejeweled sidewalls and the double laces.
All right, so all in all, walked out of there with the Stetson pearl snap, the Twisted X driving mocks, and I did pick up this Patagonia hoodie. There ain't much money in it to sell with what I paid for it. I'm gonna probably just keep it for myself because I love this stuff, one of my favorite brands. And again, that's kind of the benefit of doing this for a living, is I can pick up secondhand stuff that's gently used and pay much less for it. So I'm gonna race on to the next spot. Hopefully we'll get some better deals there, and I'll keep on filming and sharing with you what I find. If you made it this far, please reach out and hit the like button. All right, so just mobbed up to the Methodist thrift store here in Durango, Colorado. I need to go ahead and pay the meter and hope that I can find a little bit more inside of this establishment. I thought for a second that it was closed because it is Martin Luther King Day, but I do see a few people I know, their vehicles outside. So I'm gonna race in here and hope for the best. So I found this Joseph A. Bank cashmere sweater, and this isn't a brand I would usually deal in, but I went ahead and looked it up because it has the upgraded material, and there was 15 of them sold and only 12 listed, which gives it 125% sell-through rate in this colorway and size. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab it. I don't know what the price is. Oh, ouch. Well, with that price, I will probably walk from it, but if it was $6, $8, I probably would have grabbed it. So unfortunately, I didn't see that, but just make sure you're always looking at the material that the item is made of, especially if it's soft.
Alright, so I mobbed through most of the clothing, not having a whole lot of luck in here. Gonna look over the shoes in the women's clothing section and then probably bounce out. Just strolling through the hard goods, and I did find this Le Creuset, a miniature coquette. It is $4. It's in pretty good shape. I might go ahead and scoop it up. I've sold some Le Creuset coquettes that were just the simple, basic round ones for $20 to $30. And this one is used, so probably could get $20. All right, I love me some Pendleton. I found this wool scarf, and I'm glad I went ahead and looked up the sell-through rate. There was 362 that have sold and 269 listed, which puts it at plus 100 on the sell-through rate. So I'm definitely going to grab it for $4. You sell for about 20 to 35.
So persistence definitely pays off, and while neither of these items are tremendously valuable, they are items that I've sold in the past or brands that I've sold, and I like things that I know I can sell. That comfort just gives me confidence that I'm investing. And so I've said this in the past, not everything Pendleton sells. I love their vintage flannel board shirts, their jackets, but some of their cotton button-up shirts aren't real great. Some of their women's line doesn't sell real great, even in wool. But definitely, if you're curious, always look it up. It just helps to know. And yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and make the move back home. Not sure if I'll make another stop or two. What I might do is stretch this into tomorrow just to get a little bit more content and share with you a little bit more on my finds. So thanks for following along, and we'll see what we can.
So as I'm making my pilgrimage back down to New Mexico, something that's been on my mind that I want to share with you, the viewing audience, is to really be thinking about keeping an accurate count of your shipping supplies offhand at any given time. This was something I kind of ran into last Christmas the hard way, and as I was new to reselling last September when I started having a ton of success and started really shipping out a ton of things right up into the lead out of the holiday. And I was buying a lot of my shipping supplies just locally at that time, which I strongly suggest you look into buying a lot of your supplies online because it's much cheaper. But the problem I had is I ended up running out of several specific boxes that I love to ship that I was sourcing at Walmart. And the issue I found was around the holidays, Walmart has a surge in selling all their shipping supplies. And so just several weeks before the Christmas holiday, they ran out of several boxes that I desperately needed. Fortunately for me, I do have a Staples in my hometown area, and I was able to come up with a comparable size box, but it did cost me, I did have to pay up about 27 cents a box more, which you don't want to have to start coming up with outside extra costs. So what I suggest is always keeping a par level offhand, an accurate supply count. And so for instance, with one of the boxes I love to ship is a 12 by 8 by 10 size box. I try to keep 50 of those offhand at any given time. When I dip down to about 25 to 30 of them, I have a good idea what that looks like with my box stack, and I will proceed to go back to the store and purchase more. And I always try to do that with my packing paper, my bubble wrap, and any other boxes or poly mailers I might use. So if you're definitely stepping into the clothing game and you feel like that's where most of your reselling ventures will be, I do suggest using poly mailers. They are incredibly cheap. You can get those on Amazon for dirt cheap, as well as other sites online. And you'll go from shipping boxes that could cost you anywhere from 50 cents to $1 to more like 10 to 20 cents for poly mailers. They're lighter, and for soft goods, or at least tennis shoes and most of the jackets and most of the garments and outerwear, that is how I prefer to ship. So those are a lot of things to think about, but you just don't want to get caught without enough supplies. So hope that helps you. A lot of things to think about if you're getting into the reselling game, but definitely keeping enough supplies offhand is one of them. So don't get lazy. Always be on your A game and always be on a good inventory count of your supplies. That's all I got. Thrift, the one right down the road from my house. I've just got started looking through some garments, and I was lucky enough to find one Patagonia Capeline zip-up jacket. I think this is actually a women's jacket, but it's in the men's section, and it doesn't matter because I'm going to scoop it up and resell it for profit.
Alright, so I came across this Fiesta Wear mug, and it's only 50 cents. I can generally sell these for about $12 to $15, just waiting for that person who has one. and broke it in a set and just needs a replacement.
All right, so I'm in the overflow storage house that the local thrift store uses to take in items, and they just keep items here before they clean them and display them out in the thrift store. But they're kind enough to let me run through here once in a while, so I'm gonna just kind of look around, see if I can't find something worthy of a grab. Super grateful to have that benefit because they don't let everybody do it, but you do have to do some digging, and it's super cold out here. And so I'm gonna try to race around, just kind of see if I can't glance at a few things. It's been almost a month since I've been in here, and I need to be better about coming in here more regularly because there's just a wealth of stuff that I could be grabbing before it hits the storeroom floor. A couple things in there, nothing major, but all in all, prices are hard to beat at this local thrift store right down the road from my house. And the people, as I always say, are tremendously loving, helpful, and giving. And so what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna continue on with this video into tomorrow just so I can share with you more content. I'll be thrifting in my local area of northern New Mexico though, so it's hard to say how much success I'll have, but that's just the local scene. And now you know why I travel out of state to go source goods and clothing to resell. But thanks again for watching. I will continue this on tomorrow morning. Welcome back, friends. It's actually a couple days later, and I'm back up here in southern Colorado to do some thrifting this Wednesday morning. Unfortunately, yesterday I did try to film some content in my local market. I thrifted pretty hard around my hometown in several outlying areas and was unable to really find anything to share with y'all. So I'm just back up here at my honey hole, at my go-to and my more consistent, constant place to source goods, and that's up in Durango. So I'll go ahead and I'll share with you what I sourced today. I'll give you again an idea of why I'm buying that brand. I'll share with you the material. I'll give you an idea of what I pay for it, and I'll tell you hopefully what I can sell it for. So follow along. Hopefully today will be a little bit better than the last time.
Hunting fishing combo to start the morning off. This is a First Light men's all wool button up base layer Henley, and it's a great hunting brand. And then just bought one just like this just the other day, and this is identical. It probably came from the same person. It just didn't hit the showroom floor till a little bit later. Yeah, it's insect shield, so no brainer is going to scoop up both of these. As I said in past videos, sometimes I'm just not only looking for specific tags, but if I come across a tag that I'm not familiar with and the material feels coarse or sometimes ultra soft, that might be an indicator that it's upgraded materials. If the material has like a grid pattern to it, or if it's like waffle knit, that could mean that it's worth a little bit more. And if it is ripstop, that also can have somewhat of a grid pattern. So these are all things I'm kind of looking for, especially with brands I'm unfamiliar with. So keep that in mind when you're outsourcing, especially if you're new to the game. There are literally thousands upon thousands of clothing brands, and one could just get lost in the sauce. I'm a sucker for old Western shirts, and I'm not gonna buy this because it's a Roper. It's not Pearl Snap, and it's Roper, it's not Wrangler, and they got it way priced up, but it's kind of a pretty shirt. Keep an eye out for those old Wrangler brush poppers with Pearl Snaps that are the heavy canvas material. Those can be worth a lot of money, especially if they have graphics, Aztec stripe, stripe pattern, or Aztec Southwestern design. Came across these Cinch WRX FR work utility pants, but there's a hole in them. They're not in terrible shape, and I sell a lot of FR pants that are pretty beat up, but unfortunately they only sell for like 25 to 30 bucks, and these are way priced up, so gonna have to walk. Came across this pair of Cool Hot Rider insulated work utility pants, and Cool's a great brand. These are lined though, that's what makes them a little bit special. They do have some distress on the bottom of the pant legs and on the back, but they're not so bad that I couldn't probably sell them for probably 35, maybe 40 bucks even. In better condition, these sometimes will go for $50 used, and Cool's just a great brand. So as I've said in the past, look for that little shield. So just wanted to share this with you. This is an item I sell a ton in the summer months, but I'm not gonna buy it here because the price is too high. But these are Carhartt cargo shorts, and they're made out of ripstop material. So if you can find these or buy in at the right price, especially at a garage sale for like a couple bucks, these generally will sell for like $18 to $25 depending on color, condition, and size. So love me some Carhartt. So when I first started reselling, coming to the shoe aisle and just about any thrift store was kind of the first thing I attacked. And now it's actually one of the last things I attack. And as I've said in a lot of recent past videos, I just don't like cleaning shoes. And while there's a great market to sell used shoes, and there's a ton out there, it's just something that I have less and less desire to do. But as I keep saying, I hate to leave money on the table. So if it's a good brand, I usually scoop it. I just don't want to clean it. So as I've gotten faster as a clothing reseller with my sourcing skills, I have been able to cover more ground, and that means that I've been digging through more women's jackets, performance wear, vests, and that's actually turned out to be pretty good for me. But just be cautious if you're going to get into selling women's clothes. There's a much higher return rate with women's clothes because women are just a little more particular about the size. And so that is bread and butter for me. It's merino. It's just a base layer. Yeah, price is $7. I can sell this usually for about mid-20s, low 20s, somewhere in there. So I'm gonna grab it. It's an easy one. Love Patagonia. This is a super nice lightweight jacket, and I actually seen this the other day. It's got a nice spotted print to it, but it is $14.99, and these only sell for like upper 20s, low 30s, so definitely a lot. All right, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. There's a lot of money on the table in the women's section, and I love selling Gorp, and Smart Wool is just a no-brainer. So I just need to look this garment over. This is definitely a score, regardless of the price. These generally will sell for me for upper 20s to sometimes upper 30s. And so, yeah, that's what's nice about living in Colorado or very near it, and living near a couple ski resorts, is you find a lot of this wool base layer material. Found another light knit coat, and I'm not sure what the materials are. I need to check and see if this is wool, but Rob is very popular in the UK, and it's only like $6, so I'm gonna grab it. Probably get 35, 40 bucks for this every day. So this is a great find here. I love selling printer ink. It is very easy to list. It doesn't sell super fast, but it is very much needed out there. And this guy right here is $20, but it sells for about 89 to 100. And so that's a no-brainer. Gonna grab it. Dead in here for Senior Citizen Wednesday, huh?
What was that?
It's kind of...
All right, we're at 72.55.
All right, so got into some good stuff today. Stoked about the printer ink. That one right there was probably the find of the day. And stuff like that that's just easy to list, that takes no longer than 5 minutes to upload to eBay is just ideal, especially when you're used to staging clothing, and clothing is kind of a dog to list. It's kind of slow, but nonetheless gonna race down to the next stop. Keep following along. If you've made it this far, please reach out and hit that like button. So for all you rooks out there who are just getting into the game and are wanting to do clothing on the resale market, just definitely be thinking about sourcing goods in the off season and stockpiling those goods so that you have a good seasonal death pile. One big mistake I made in my freshman year of doing this was not realizing the importance of stocking clothing items that would be used in the next following season and sourcing them in the non-season. And so that's something I've definitely been better about doing the last 7-8 months. And despite the fact that we're just right at the start of the new year, I have actually been buying sandals, and anytime I can find a good deal on a great pair of shorts or hiking shirts, anything like that that's not really going to sell that great this time of year, you can generally find those items for cheaper in the winter months. And that's just because they're not really selling. And a lot of thrift stores don't want to continue to have to stockpile them, so they go ahead and put them out there. And the discounts may not be that great in the off season, but it's still worth looking, because the chances are that the competition is probably not looking for shorts when they're really freezing their butt off looking for a pair of flannel lined pants or a really heavy jacket. So those are just things to think of. I hope that those tips help you, and they're all coming from my failures, and I like to share those failures with you, so hopefully your business endeavor is more smoother sailing than my first year was. But once you get a system, you'll figure it out. And if you have any little tips you'd like to share with me, I'd love to read them in the comments. I'm not too proud to learn. There's so much to learn about this game, and that's what's fun about it. It feels never ending, and that keeps it interesting for me.
Buy a whole lot of Carhartt button-up short sleeve shirts, but this guy's new, tag on. It's the right price, so I'm gonna find these modern Wrangler Rancher shirts. And I did say in past videos that I don't usually buy the newer Wrangler shirts unless the price is really low. The price ain't too terrible on these, but these are actually extra large, 2X tall, and then the one behind is just 2X. But they do have some geometric patterns to them, and I won't make a whole lot off of them, probably 16 to 20 bucks, but I'm gonna go ahead and scoop them up. The price is there. Here's some bread and butter, just some cool hiking shorts. They're only 4 bucks. The price is there. They're definitely gonna need washed, but they're in pretty good shape. So like I said earlier, look for the shield. All right, these are LL Bean flannel lined, fleece lined jeans, and the size is like 36 by 32. A little big in the waist, but price is there, and I can usually sell these for pretty close to 30 bucks, sometimes a little more. So Smith optics, Smith sunglasses, Smith snowboarding helmets are always money for me, but this is just a youth helmet, and it's priced a little high, so going through the clothing, got what I wanted. Now I'm onto the proverbial hard goods run. This store I haven't bought any hard goods from in quite a while, but it does have some cool stuff once in a while. You just gotta dig, and some of it might be too that they have some good electronics for great prices here, but I've really backed off selling sound equipment, and I still do some of the small simple kitchen appliances because you're a lot less likely to get scammed on eBay. But I've really whittled it down to the things I like to sell, and I've limited myself to selling certain things just because there's people out there that are just assholes that like to scam. And as you get into your eBay endeavor, you'll probably find that out for yourself. So best of luck to you though.
All right, so definitely a better day up here in Durango. Didn't find any real home runs or any bangers, but definitely bread and butter. And that's what's gonna make up the majority of your business buys and sells. So as I said in the past video, or actually the other day, find brands that are good for you, brands that sell for you, brands that you can find frequently, and just go to town with them. So nonetheless, I'm gonna go ahead and make the pilgrimage back to northern New Mexico. And I might make one stop at my local thrift, as I always do. It's just right down the road from my house. And then after that, I'll go from there. So just made the journey back down to northern New Mexico, and I am outside of my favorite thrift store, the one right down the road from my house, and that would be the Friends and Family thrift store here in Spencerville, New Mexico. And I was just here yesterday. I didn't find anything, but I come here almost every day because of the proximity and location of this business near my home. It just makes it easy. And as I always say, even when I don't find anything, there's always a lot of love and a few hugs to get from the ladies that work here. And I just appreciate that. It's nice to have people to share life with and share your work with. And these ladies have definitely been that. And so I'm gonna race in here and hopefully find something good for cheap.
Out the gate, I came out swinging, and I found these men's 686 snowboard pants. They're definitely gonna need a lint roller, as they seem to have like dog hair or women's hair on them. They don't seem to have too much damage. I think this little pull tab's torn, but I looked them over for the most part, and they seem to be in good shape. They do have some suspenders added to them, and these are not part of the pants, so I'll just go ahead and take those off. But they do have some fraying down at the bottom ends, but men's snowboard pants sell really well for me. And a lot of times, if they're like Burton, North Face, or a brand like this, I can sometimes get anywhere from 35 to 80 bucks for them used. So black's also a great color. Cool old vintage kids Patagonia fleece quarter snap, but it has a hole in the sleeve. And while the price is dirt cheap and it is vintage, I'm just gonna walk from it. I love Patagonia, and I probably could sell it, but it's not worth my time to list with a flaw. If this was an adult size, I would grab it in a heartbeat. What are you doing? How are you?
I don't know. What do you got cooking?
Well, just another video about how I buy and resell junk.
All right, didn't get much, but the 686 snowboarding pants. Gonna go ahead and make the pilgrimage back home. So gonna go ahead and shag out of here. Definitely happy to find at least one item here because the prices are always so good, and the love and appreciation for me as a person is always there too. And I don't get that a whole lot of places, especially with not having a real job anymore. But nonetheless, I am very grateful for you watching. Thanks for all the people that make comments, and especially those who follow along very consistently. Sure appreciate you. If you like this video, please hit like, make a comment, or as always, please subscribe.